Hello students, good morning. Today we will continue a chapter which is gas law or state of matter of class 11th physical chemistry. State of matter, in which we study about different gas laws as well as ideal gas, real gas, and what is the basic difference between ideal and real gas, and how the gas equation be converted into van der Waals equation after some corrections. Okay, so gas law. Firstly, Boyle's law. According to Boyle's law, at constant temperature, the volume of any gas, basically ideal gas, is inversely proportional to pressure. On increasing the pressure, volume will be decreased, or on increasing the volume, the pressure will be decreased. Clear? So suppose if at constant temperature, the volume of gas is V. So according to Boyle's law, V is inversely proportional to P. So here is P into V, which is equal to constant. This is the mathematical expression for Boyle's law. PV is equal to constant. Now the graphical representation of Boyle's law on different variables, including different variables. So graphical representation. So we have P into V, which is equal to constant. Suppose constant is assumed as K. So if pressure is on x-axis and volume is on y-axis, so xy is equal to constant. It is the rectangular hyperbolic graph. On x-axis here is pressure, on y-axis here is volume. So we get a such type of curve which indicates at constant pressure P1 the volume of gas is V1, and on increasing the pressure from V1 to V2 it will be decreased. On increasing the pressure from P1 to P2, the volume will be decreased from V1 to V2. On increasing the pressure, volume will be decreased. Clear? Similarly, by using different variables, suppose here is PV is equal to constant, so V is equal to K into 1 by P. Clear? Y is equal to mx. If 1 by P is taken on x-axis and volume is on y-axis, so here is the graph. On x-axis we have 1 by P, clear, and on y-axis it is V. So it is the straight line. Y is equal to mx. Straight line passes through origin, and if theta is the angle from positive x-axis, so here is tan theta is equal to K. This graph is also for Boyle's law in terms of V versus 1 by P. Clear? Now one more graph, PV versus P or V. Graph between PV versus P or V. It is also a straight line parallel to x-axis. Since PV is equal to constant, is whole PV variable. Whole PV is on y-axis, so y is equal to constant. So here is PV, and on x-axis it is P or V. So we have a graph parallel to x-axis like this, and intercept on y-axis, which is equal to K. So on decreasing or increasing the pressure or volume, the product of pressure and volume is always constant. Clear? So these are the graph for Boyle's law. Now Charles' law. Charles' law: at constant pressure, the volume of ideal gas is directly proportional to absolute temperature. On increasing the temperature, the volume of gas increased if pressure remains constant. Clear? So if at constant pressure, the volume of gas is V, then it is directly proportional to absolute temperature. Absolute temperature means temperature in Kelvin. So here is V is directly proportional to T. So we have V upon T, which is equal to constant. Clear? Now the graphical representation for Charles' law. So first graph is V versus T. So we have V is equal to K into T. So Y is equal to mx. If volume is taken on y-axis and temperature is on x-axis, so we have a straight line passes through origin like this, and if theta is the angle from positive x-axis, so here tan theta is equal to K. Clear? Now if at different constant pressure, suppose if at different constant pressure the graph between volume versus temperature is drawn and question is asked, arrange these pressure in ascending or descending order, then how will it solve that? Suppose graph is given like temperature versus volume graph, which is for Charles' law. Clear? And at constant pressure P1, the curve, a straight line is observed as such one. Another constant pressure P2, it is this one, and another constant pressure P3, it is this one. All these individual lines are for Charles' law at different constant pressure P1, P2, P3. And question is, what is the relation between these pressure? How it is solved? This graph is converted into Boyle's law. Clear? How? Boyle's law deals at constant temperature. So with the temperature axis, a perpendicular is drawn on these lines. At such constant temperature, the volume corresponding to P1 pressure, it is V1, clear, and the volume corresponding to P3 pressure, it is V3. Since V1 is greater than V3, V1 is greater than V3, so P1 is less than P3. Why? The product of pressure and volume is constant at constant temperature. Clear? So V1 greater than V3, so P1 is less than P3. So P3 is greater than, P2 is greater than P1. This is the relation between these pressure. So Charles' law graph is converted into Boyle's law with the help of temperature axis, and at constant temperature we conclude that if pressure is high then volume is low, and if volume is low then pressure will be high. Clear? Since PV is equal to constant. Now suppose pressure law. Pressure law, which is at constant volume, the pressure is directly proportional to temperature. Pressure law states that at constant volume, the pressure is directly proportional to temperature. It means P is directly proportional to T. So P is equal to K into T. And the graphical representation is same as Charles' law. Y is equal to mx. Straight line passes through origin. Suppose on x-axis it is temperature, and on y-axis it is pressure. And at different constant volume, suppose like at V1 it is such as at V2 and at V3, and we want to relate all these volume, then by using further Boyle's law. Boyle's law deals at constant temperature. So on temperature axis a perpendicular is drawn on these lines. So for V1 the corresponding pressure is P1, and for V3 the corresponding pressure is P3. Since P3 is greater than P1, so V3 is less than V1. So here is relation between these volume. V1 is greater than V2 is greater than V3, since pressure is inversely proportional to volume. Clear? So one graph can be easily converted into another graph with the help of given condition at constant temperature, at constant volume, or at constant pressure. Clear? Now next one is Avogadro law. Avogadro law. Avogadro law states that on similar condition of temperature and pressure, the equal volume of gaseous substance contains equal number of moles, or at constant temperature and pressure, the volume of gas is directly proportional to number of moles. So here is V directly proportional to N. This is according to Avogadro law. Clear? So here we have discussed about 4 different laws. One is Boyle's law, second is pressure law, third Charles' law, as well as Avogadro law. And by using these laws, now we will define the ideal gas equation. So here is ideal gas equation. So according to Boyle's law, V is inversely proportional to P. Charles' law, V directly proportional to T. Avogadro law, it is directly proportional to N. So by using these statements, we can write V is directly proportional to Nt by P. So here is Pv is equal to nRT, where R is the proportionality constant known as gas constant or universal gas constant. The value of R is fixed, which is 0.08214 liter atmosphere, Kelvin inverse, mole inverse. So this equation is also known as ideal gas equation. Ideal gas equation. Clear? Note it. Now, at two different condition of pressure, volume as well as temperature, this equation is converted into two different forms. Suppose at volume So according to ideal gas equation, we have Pv upon Nt, which is equal to R, which is equal to constant. Clear? So at two different condition of pressure, volume, temperature as well as moles, we can write P1 V1 upon N1 T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon N2 T2. If N1 is equal to N2, number of moles will be same, then it will be P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2. Clear? This is the first form of ideal gas equation. Similarly, if moles will be opened like P1 V1 upon mole is W1 into M1. W1 is the weight and M1 is the molecular weight into T1 is equal to P2 V2 into M2 upon W2 into T2. Mass upon volume is density. So here is the reciprocal of density. So this equation becomes M1 P1 upon D1 T1 is equal to M2 P2 upon D2 T2. This equation is also used for the calculation of different pressure, volume according to the given question. Now the question. So suppose a question is given as if temperature of an ideal gas is increased by 20% and pressure is decreased by 20%, then calculate how much percentage of volume is increased. Here is the question. If temperature of an ideal gas is increased by 20%, temperature is increased by 20%, and for same gas pressure is decreased by 20%, then calculate how much percentage of volume will be increased. Clear? Since in this question we have given in terms of percentage, so if we assumed that the initial volume, temperature and pressure is 100, then calculation is more easier as compared to other assumptions. Clear? So initially, suppose P1 is assumed as 100, T1 is assumed as 100 and V1 is also assumed as 100. Clear? So according to question, pressure is decreased by 20%. If initial is 100, then after decrement of 20%, the pressure becomes 80. Clear? And temperature is increased by 20%. So new temperature T2 will be 120. So calculate the volume V2 by using Boyle's gas equation. P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon T2. So put the value of pressure. Here is 100 multiplied by 100 divided by 100. Clear? And here P2 will be 80 multiplied by V2 divided by 120. So here V2 will be 12 into 100 upon 8. So the answer will be 150. So if V2 will be 150 and initial volume is 100, then how much percentage of volume will be increased? It will be 50%. Clear? So the volume of gas is increased by 50% if temperature is increased by 20% as well as pressure is decreased by 20%. Here is the question. Clear? Now, next question is gram of helium gas which is act as ideal is taken in a closed flask and pressure is observed as 2 atmosphere. If 2 gram of another gas is introduced in same flask, the total pressure is observed as 3 atmosphere. Calculate the molecular mass of unknown gas. पहला, if temperature remains constant, if temperature is decreased by 10%. So here is the question. This question is based on NCERT pattern. Suppose 2 gram of helium gas, which is assumed as ideal, is taken in a closed flask, clear, and pressure is observed as 2 atmosphere. If 2 gram of another gas is introduced in same flask, 2 gram another gas is introduced in same flask, the total pressure is observed as 3 atmosphere. Pressure will be increased from 2 atmosphere to 3 atmosphere. Clear? Calculate the molecular mass of unknown gas. Molecular mass to find the molecular mass of unknown gas at 2 different conditions. First, if temperature remains constant, clear, and second, if temperature is decreased by 10% after introducing inert gas in same flask. So here the question, by using simply ideal gas equation, we can solve this problem. So solution. We have a relation in terms of number of moles, which is P1 V1 upon T1 is equal to N1 T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon N2 T2. Clear? According to question, initially we have 2 grams of helium and P1 is observed as 2 atmosphere. So in first part, in which temperature remain constant, T1 is equal to T2, V1 is equal to V2, since flask is same flask, so volume will be constant. So here is V1, V2 will be cancelled, T1, T2 is also cancelled in case of first part. So P1 it given as 2 divided by N1, which is 2 divided by helium atomic mass 4, is equal to P2 is observed as 3 atmosphere divided by in same flask, so whole N2 will be 2 by 4 plus X by, clear, 2 by X. X is the molecular mass of another unknown gas. So it is 4 is equal to 2/4 plus 2/x is equal to 3/4. So here is 1/2. So 2/x is equal to 3/4 minus 1/2. So 2/x is equal to 4 is the LCM. So 3 minus 3 minus 2, it is 1/4. So value of x will be 8. Clear? Value of x will be 8 in case of first part. Check it, the calculation. Clear? In case of second part, we have pressure is decreased by 10%. Now P1 V1 upon N1 T1 is equal to P2 V2 upon N2 T2. Clear? V1 V2 will be same, so it will be cancelled out. Pressure is initially 2. Here is also 2 divided by He4 is equal to temperature is assumed as T, initial temperature. Since the temperature is decreased by 10% or it is assumed as 100, most appropriate figure will be 100, which is equal to P2 is assumed as 3, which is given in the question, 3 atmosphere, and the total similarly 1/2 into 2/x, clear, multiplied by decreased by 10%, so it will be 90. So 1/2 plus 2/x is equal to 3 into 100 divided by 4 into 90. Clear? So calculate the x, which is the molecular mass of unknown gas according to second condition. Is it clear? So by using ideal gas equation, we can easily calculate the required units. Now one more question. A gas cylinder contains of 10 liter capacity contains helium gas at 10 atmosphere. If a balloon is filled by helium gas of diameter 20 centimeter, calculate the number of balloons filled by given gas cylinder. Here is the question. A gas cylinder of 10 liter capacity contains helium gas at 10 atmosphere. If a balloon is filled by helium gas and the diameter of balloon of diameter 20 centimeter. Suppose the balloon is spherical having diameter 20 centimeter. Then calculate the number of balloons filled by given gas cylinder. How many balloons are filled by given cylinder? Assuming temperature remains constant. So if gas is leaked out from cylinder to atmosphere, the volume of gas is increased, since in the cylinder the gas is compressed at 10 atmospheric pressure and in surrounding it will be 1 atmospheric pressure. So firstly calculate when the gas is leaked, whole gas is leaked from cylinder to atmosphere, then how much volume will occupied by the helium gas, assuming helium gas is an ideal gas. Clear? So volume occupied by the helium gas at 1 atmosphere. Now it is the total volume of the gas, and with the help of diameter of balloon we can easily calculate the volume of one balloon. So total volume of the gas divided by volume of one balloon gives the total number of balloons filled by the given cylinder. Is it clear? So solution. Firstly calculate when gas is leaked from cylinder to atmosphere, how much volume it is occupied. So initial volume it will be 10 liters, initial pressure it will be 10 atmosphere, temperature remains constant, so from gas law temperature will be cancelled out, V2 will be find and P1 will be 1 atmosphere. Clear? So P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So here is P1 10 multiplied by volume is 10 liter, P2 it will be 1 and V2, so V2 will be 100 liters. Clear? So here is the final volume when gas is leaked from cylinder to atmosphere. Clear? Now secondly, calculate the volume of one balloon with the help of diameter of balloon, which is given as 20 centimeter. So here is volume of balloon. Volume of balloon will be 4 by 3 pi r cube. So here is 4 by 3 pi, diameter is 20, so radius will be 10, 10 ka whole cube, it is in centimeter cube. Clear? So number of balloons, will be 100 into 1000. Liter is converted into centimeter cube, so 100 into 1000 divided by volume of one balloon, which is pi into 10 into 10 into 10. Clear? So it will be 100 into 3 upon 4 into pi. This is the answer, which is approximately 75 divided by pi, number of balloons. Once again, in this question, a cylinder is given of capacity 10 liter in which helium gas is filled at 10 atmospheric pressure, and when gas is leaked out from cylinder to atmosphere, the gas will expand due to low pressure, 10 atmosphere to 1 atmosphere. So firstly we calculate the volume occupied at 1 atmosphere, total volume of the gas at 1 atmosphere. So by using Boyle's law, since temperature remains constant in this question, temperature may be varied. If the temperature is varied, then by using gas equation we can easily calculate how much volume is occupied by the helium gas when it is leaked from cylinder to atmosphere. Clear? So firstly we calculate the volume of helium gas against 1 atmospheric pressure. Now calculate the volume of one balloon with the help of diameter of balloon, which is given as 20 centimeter. So here the volume of one balloon. So number of balloons will be filled by the given cylinder is the total volume at 1 atmosphere divided by volume of one balloon. So it is the total number of balloons filled by the given gas. Clear? So here is the way to solve this question. Now next type of question, calculate the total pressure after connecting given bulbs. Initially volume is 10 liter, pressure is 2 atmosphere, volume is 5 liter and pressure is 7 atmosphere. Temperature is constant. So here is the question. In this question, calculate the total pressure after connecting given bulbs. These are two bulbs, one having volume 10 liter, pressure 2 atmosphere, and another having volume 5 liter and pressure will be 7 atmosphere. And if these bulbs are connected to each other, then what is the total pressure after connecting these bulbs? This type of question, firstly calculate the moles in terms of pressure as well as volume and temperature also. Then after connecting, the total number of moles is the sum of the moles of both bulbs, and with the help of total volume of the container we can easily calculate the total pressure. Clear? So firstly calculate the number of moles by using PV is equal to nRT of first bulb. In case of first bulb, we have PV is equal to N1 RT. Clear? In case of first bulb, pressure is given as 2, volume is given as 10 divided by R into T, which is the number of moles, N1. In case of second bulb, same process is repeated. PV is equal to nRT, but here is number of moles is assumed as N2 into R into T. Pressure, which is 7 atmosphere, volume which is given as 5 atmosphere divided by R into T, which is equal to N2. Clear? After connecting both bulbs, the total number of moles, total moles will be N1 plus N2. Clear? So it is 20 by RT and 35 by RT. 20 by RT plus 35 by RT. So it will be 55 by RT. Clear? Now again by applying PV is equal to nRT. Clear? So pressure which will be calculated with the help of total volume will be 15 liters, 10 plus 5, 15 liters. Number of moles, it will be 55 by RT multiplied by RT. After cancellation of RT, the pressure will be 55 upon 15 atmosphere. This is the answer. So question is based on the bulb can easily be solved by using the number of moles in each bulb. Clear? Once again, here is the question: calculate the total pressure after connecting given bulb. In first bulb, the condition is given as volume 10 liter, pressure is 2 atmosphere. In second bulb, we have volume is 5 liter, pressure is 7 atmosphere. So firstly calculate the number of moles in first bulb with the help of PV is equal to N1 RT. N1 will be 20 by RT. Similarly in second bulb, it will be N2, which is 35 by RT. Clear? So total number of moles, which is N1 plus N2. Then again by using PV is equal to nRT, we can easily calculate the pressure with the help of total volume. After connecting these bulbs, total volume will be 15. So P into 15 is equal to N1 plus N2 RT. RT will be cancelled out. So here pressure is 55 by 15 atmosphere. Clear? Once again, same type of question. P1 2 atmosphere, V1 10 liter. Here is 2 gram of helium is at 400 Kelvin. P1 will be 5 atmosphere and V1 will be 15 liter. After connecting, temperature is decreased by 20%. So here is the question. So in this question, firstly calculate the number of moles. In second block, we can easily calculate the number of moles with the help of 2 gram. It means 2 divided by 4, which is 0.5. Clear? In first block, by using PV is equal to nRT. P2 volume 10 divided by n, R की value 0.08214, temperature is 400 Kelvin, so it will be N1. Here N2 is 0.5 and N3, which is also 5 into 15 divided by 0.08214 multiplied by 400. So here is N3, here is N2 and here is N1. So total number of moles becomes pressure and volume both are unknown. In second bulb, volume is given while the pressure and volume both are unknown, so we can't calculate the volume, total volume of the container. So here is volume is given as 5 liter. Volume is given as 5 liter. Is it clear? If volume is not given, then we have two unknown quantity. One is pressure and another is volume. So question cannot be solved without volume. Clear? So volume is given, which is 5 liter. Clear? Now by using further PV is equal to nRT, we want to calculate the pressure multiplied by total volume, which is 5, 10 and 15, which is 30 liter. Number of moles is also given, N1 plus N2 plus N3 multiplied by R. R should be cancelled. No, is not given, or multiplying by R and divided by R. And temperature, according to the question condition, it is decreased by 20%. So initial we have 400 Kelvin. After decrement of 20%, it will be 320 Kelvin. 320. So we can easily calculate the total pressure after connecting these bulbs. Clear? So in this question, individual number of volume, number of moles, individually number of moles will be found with the help of pressure, grams or volume. Okay? Then after adding these moles, the total moles is observed. Same procedure in all such type of question is opted. Initially calculate the number of moles in each bulb, and after adding number of moles, we can easily calculate the total number of moles. Total volume is also given. So by using further PV is equal to an nRT, we can easily calculate the total pressure. Clear? So this is the way to solving such type of problem. Now, next is Graham's law of diffusion. Graham's law. Diffusion or effusion is the same process. According to Graham's, the diffusion of gas, the rate of diffusion of gas is inversely proportional to square root of its density. If D is the density of gas and small r is the rate of diffusion, then according to Graham's, it is r is inversely proportional to under root D. Clear? So in case of two different gases, the given relation is written as R1 upon R2 is equal to under root D2 by D1, where R1 and R2 both are the rate of diffusion of two different gases of density D1 and D2. Now the given relation may be modified with the help of given substitution, like for gaseous substance 2 into vapor density is equal to molecular weight. So R1 upon R2 is written as under root M2 by M1 also. Clear? Another substitution is also make out like this, कि if V1 volume is diffuses in time T1, then rate will be V1 upon T1, and V2 volume of another gas is diffused in time T2, then rate will be V2 upon T2. So it is equal to under root M2 by M1. So here is V1 T2 divided by V2 T1 is equal to under root M2 by M1. This relation is also applied. Note it. Now, question is based on Graham's law. Suppose calculate the ratio of rate of diffusion of oxygen and sulfur dioxide at constant temperature. Simply the question is calculate the ratio of rate of diffusion of oxygen and sulfur dioxide at constant temperature. Clear? So in this question, temperature is constant, so by using Graham's law, we can write R1 upon R2 is equal to under root M2 by M1. So here R of O2 upon R of SO2 is equal to under root SO2, the molecular mass of SO2 will be 64 divided by O2 will be 32. Clear? So it will be root 2 divided by 1. So answer will be R of O2 ratio R of SO2 is equal to root 2 divided by 1. Here is the question. Root 2 times more faster diffuses as compared to SO2. O2 will be root 2 times more faster diffuses, since the O2 is lighter as compared to SO2. Simply. Now another type of question based on Graham's law. Suppose question is calculate x in the given diagram. Here is the tube of length suppose 50 centimeter. Here is the nozzle. There is also nozzle. From this nozzle, ammonia is introduced, while from this nozzle, HCl is introduced. And here, white fumes is observed, which is from HCl nozzle be X. Calculate the X, which is the distance from HCl nozzle where the dense white fumes is observed by the reaction of ammonia and HCl. At such point, NH4Cl is formed, and due to the formation of NH4Cl, dense white fume is observed. So calculate the distance from HCl nozzle of white fumes. Clear? In same time, ammonia diffuses from how much length? It is 50 minus X. Clear? So rate of diffusion of ammonia will be 50 minus X divided by T. Similarly, rate of diffusion of HCl will be, it is X by T. So according to Graham's law, rate of ammonia divided by rate of HCl, which is equal to under root m2 by m1. Rate of ammonia is written as 50 minus X divided by T whole divided by X upon T. Clear? Which is equal to under root m2. m2 is the molecular mass of HCl, which is 36.5 whole divided by m1, which is 17. Calculate X. So this is the way to solve such type of question. Once again, according to this question, calculate X in the given diagram. Here is the glass tube of length 50 centimeter, in which at the end of the tube we have two nozzles. From one nozzle ammonia is passed and from other HCl is passed, and at such point which is away from HCl nozzle is X, dense white fumes is observed of NH4Cl. Then calculate the X. In same time, ammonia diffuses from nozzle to spotted point, which is 50 minus X distance, while HCl diffuses X distance. So the rate of diffusion of ammonia, it will be 50 minus X divided by T, and rate of diffusion of HCl will be X by T. Clear? So according to Graham's, rate of diffusion of ammonia divided by rate of diffusion of HCl, which is equal to under root m2 by m1. Put the values. 50 minus X divided by X, which is equal to under root 36.5 is the molecular mass of HCl, as well as ammonia it is 17. Calculate X. Now, next is van der Waals correction. Van der Waals correction. So, question arises, what is the basic difference between ideal and real gas? So, the basic difference between ideal and real gas is due to the size of particle. Suppose here is the ideal gas, assumed as like this, and here is the real gas. Real gas particle is too much large as compared to ideal gas particle. Now, in case of ideal gas, the volume occupied by the particle of ideal gas, which is negligible as compared to the total volume occupied by ideal gas. Since the particle size is too small, very small, but in case of real gas, it is not. The volume occupied by the real gas is not negligible as compared to total volume occupied by the real gas. So, in case of ideal, V effective is equal to V measured, but in case of real, the actual volume, which is V effective, is equal to V measured minus NB. The volume occupied by the real gas particle, it will be subtracted from V measured, which is N into V, known as volume correction. Clear? Similarly, in case of ideal gas, the pressure exerted on the wall of the container is due to the striking rate of particle on the wall of the container in case of ideal gas, and the cohesive force between these ideal gas particle is negligible, since according to kinetic theory of the gaseous molecule, the cohesive force between ideal gas particle or intermolecular attraction force, it is 0. Ideal gas particle in case of ideal gas particle, but in case of real gas, the striking rate of real gas particle is not effective due to the cohesive attraction between real gas particle. The other particles attract toward itself of striking real gas particle. So the pressure exerted by real gas is less as compared to P effective. So in case of ideal gas, here is P effective is equal to P measured. Clear? But in case of real gas, the P effective is less as compared to P measured. So after addition of some unit, like which is N square A upon V square, known as pressure correction. This unit is known as pressure correction, N square A upon V square. So in case of real gas, the volume correction, which is NB, while in case of ideal gas, the correction of volume, it will be 0, since the size of ideal gas particle is very small. Similarly, in case of pressure of ideal gas, P effective is equal to P measured, since the intermolecular attraction force between ideal gas particle is 0. But in case of real gas, it is not equal to 0. So due to the cohesive attraction between particles, the actual pressure, the P effective, the actual pressure is less as compared to P measured. So the actual pressure is equal to P measured plus N square A upon V square, which is known as van der Waal correction or pressure correction also. Clear? So in case of ideal gas, the formula will be PV is equal to nRT. But in case of real gas, the formula will be, here is P is replaced by P plus N square A upon V square. V is replaced by V minus NB, which is equal to nRT, known as van der Waal equation. This equation is also known as van der Waal equation. Clear? So once again, for ideal gas, due to small size of particle, the volume occupied by the ideal gas particle is negligible with respect to the total volume occupied by the ideal gas. But in case of real gas, it is not negligible. So P measured is always more as compared to P actual due to the volume of real gas. So P effective is equal to P measured minus due to the particle size volume minus NB, where NB is called volume correction, N is the number of moles and B is called van der Waal constant, and whole NB is known as volume correction. Clear? Similarly, in case of ideal gas, due to the intermolecular attraction force between ideal gas particle is 0, so P effective is equal to P measured, since the intermolecular attraction force between ideal gas particle is 0. But in case of real gas, it is not 0. So due to the cohesive attraction or intermolecular attraction between real gas particle, the actual pressure is always less as compared to V measured. Clear? So P effective, P actual is equal to P measured plus N square A upon V square, where N is the number of moles, V is the volume, and A is the van der Waal constant, and whole unit is known as, which is N square A upon V square, is known as pressure correction. Clear? So in case of ideal gas, we have PV is equal to nRT, which is known as the ideal gas equation. But in case of real gas, it may be changed according to the particle size of real gas. It will be P plus N square A upon V square, V minus NB is equal to nRT. Is it clear? Which is also known as van der Waal equation. So here is the van der Waal equation. Now by using different conditions, suppose at very low pressure, since volume is becomes too high, so V is much greater than as compared to NB, so V minus NB is nearly equal to V. Clear? So equation become P plus N square A upon V square into V is equal to nRT. At very low pressure, the van der Waal equation become this much, P plus N square A upon V square into, this is also at moderate pressure also. Clear? Now, what is the difference between ideal gas as well as real gas? Graphically, it can be explained. Firstly, here is the ideal and here is the real. Due to the particle size, previously we have seen that the variation of pressure as well as volume correction is involved in case of real gas. So at which condition, question arises, at which condition a real gas behave as ideal? The condition if volume is too high. If volume is too high, then the volume occupied by the real gas particle is negligible with respect to the total volume occupied by the real gas, and a real gas behave as ideal. So for increasing the volume, we have two conditions of temperature as well as pressure. At very low pressure, volume becomes high, and at very high temperature, volume becomes high. Clear? So we have at low pressure and high temperature, a real gas behave as ideal, since at such condition the volume occupied by the particle of real gas is negligible with respect to the total volume of the gas, as well as due to distance between intermolecular distance between real gas particle, the intermolecular attraction force between real gas is negligible with respect to the total volume occupied by the real gas. Is it clear? So here is the condition. Remember that a real gas behave as ideal at low pressure and high temperature. Clear? So graphically it can be explained by using P versus V diagram of real gas as well as ideal. Suppose graphical representation. On x-axis we have volume is taken, and on y-axis pressure is taken. Then for ideal gas, it is observed as this much. This graph is for ideal gas, and in case of real gas it is observed like this, of same quantity on similar condition of temperature as well as number of moles. In case of real gas the graph is this one, and in case of ideal the graph is this one. What we concluded about these curves, so at constant pressure the V ideal is less, V ideal is less as compared to V real due to the particle size. V real is always greater as compared to V ideal due to the particle size. But at very low pressure both curves coincides. Why? Since at very low pressure a real gas behave as ideal, so both curve overlap to each other. So a graph, according to given graph, we can say that a real gas behave as ideal, at very low pressure, since at very low pressure volume becomes high, and when the volume is too large then the volume occupied by the real gas particle is negligible as compared to the total volume of the gas. Is it clear? So here is the graphical comparison. Now in next class we will discuss about some more facts between ideal and difference between ideal and real gas. Thank you. So by using given graph we have discussed about the difference between ideal as well as real. Now with the help of compressibility factor Z, we can also differentiate the ideal as well as real gas. Suppose for ideal gas PV is equal to nRT. For 1 mole it will be PV is equal to RT. But for real gas it is PV is equal to ZRT. Z is called compressibility factor. So PV upon RT, which is equal to Z. The value of Z for ideal gas, Z is equal to 1, while for real gas Z is less than 1 or Z is greater than 1, depends upon the condition of different pressure. Since we have discussed about van der Waals equation at three different stage of pressure, at very low pressure, very low pressure, at very low pressure or moderate pressure, and at high pressure. Clear? Once again, if we discuss about different condition of pressure, how the van der Waal equation becomes changed. So here is van der Waal equation. Van der Waal equation, which is P plus n square A upon V square V minus NB is equal to nRT. At three different condition of pressure, at very low pressure, low pressure, at very low pressure, since since real gas behave as ideal, so we have PV is equal to nRT. At moderate pressure, since volume is very high, so NB, V is much greater as compared to NB. So the formula will be P plus n square A upon V square into V is equal to nRT. Clear? And at very high pressure, P is much greater as compared to n square A upon V square, so P plus n square A upon V square is nearly equal to P. Clear? So we have P into n minus V minus NB is equal to nRT. So these are the variation of van der Waal equation at different condition of pressure. Is it clear? Now, if we study about different real gas graphically in terms of value of Z, then graph between PV upon RT, which is equal to Z, compressibility factor, as well as pressure. Value of Z for ideal gas, it is straight line, since for ideal gas the value of Z is 1. This is for ideal gas. But in case of real gas, which is nearly to ideal, like hydrogen and helium, in case of real gas which is nearly to ideal, for example hydrogen and helium, it is observed as, in case of helium it will be this one, and in case of hydrogen it will be this one. here is the region where Z is greater than 1, here is the region where Z is less than 1. So the gas which is nearly to ideal, like hydrogen and helium, for which the particle size is too small as compared to other real gas, so it behave as ideal, and for such gases only positive deviation is observed. Z is greater than 1 at all range of pressure. But in case of heavier gas like CO2 or methane or carbon monoxide, at certain range of pressure it becomes negative deviation, and then further it will be positive deviation like methane. Suppose similarly in case of carbon monoxide, it is also observed like this, carbon monoxide. At certain range of pressure, the value of Z is less than 1, but at certain range of pressure it will be greater than 1. So different condition of pressure, the value of Z varies in case of real gas. But according to this graph, at very low pressure range, all lines overlap with each other, shows that all gases behave as ideal at very low pressure range. Clear? So here is the graph between Z versus different range of pressure. Now, the liquefaction of real gas. For the liquefaction of real gas, we can easily understand by using PV diagram of pressure versus volume diagram. Here is the pressure and here is the volume, and on increasing the, suppose we have two curve at two different temperature like this. Here is T1, here is T2, and we want to relate between T1 and T2, then at constant pressure, Charles law, at constant pressure, here is the constant pressure, at constant pressure the volume corresponding to T1 is V1 and the volume corresponding to T2 is V2. So since V2 is greater than V1, so we have T2 is greater than T1. Is it clear? So on increasing the temperature, graph of PV diagram becomes away to origin. Suppose this is the for ideal gas, but in case of real gas, suppose for carbon dioxide, the PV diagram is observed at such temperature it becomes rectangular hyperbolic graph, which is at temperature T1. On decreasing the temperature, curve moves towards origin, and on increasing the temperature, curve moves away from origin. So on decreasing the temperature from T1 to T2, the graph of CO2 will observed as this one, towards origin. Then after minute change of temperature, suppose the graph is observed as this one. here is the T3. So T2 at temperature T2, the rectangular hyperbolic variation shows that CO2 behave as ideal, but at below the temperature T2, the graph is not rectangular hyperbolic, so it shows CO2 act as real. And if CO2 act as real, then by using pressure it can be liquefied. Understand? Since ideal gas cannot be liquefied, the intermolecular attraction force between ideal gas particle is 0. So at temperature T2, CO2 cannot be liquefied since CO2 behave as ideal, while at the below the temperature T2, at temperature T3, the maximum temperature T3, where CO2 can be liquefied by using some extent of pressure. So it is that maximum temperature, T3 is the maximum temperature at which CO2 can be liquefied, known as critical temperature. Clear?